Sex is a tridimensional experience: spirit, soul, and body. Anytime you have sex with a person, you bond with them. Dr. Daniel Amen writes in his book, Change Your Brain, Change Your Life. Whenever a person is sexually involved with another person, neurochemical changes occur in both their brains that encourage limbic, emotional bonding. Limbic bonding is the reason casual sex doesn't really work for most people on a whole mind and body level. Two people may decide to have sex just for the fun of it, yet something is occurring on another level that they might not have decided on at all. Sex is enhancing an emotional bond between them whether they want it or not. One person, often the woman, is bound to form an attachment and will be hurt when a casual affair ends. One reason it is usually the woman who is hurt most is that the female limbic system is larger than the male's. This is what we call soul ties. Sex is like gluing two pieces of wood together and the next day ripping them apart. Of course, wood from the opposite board remains on each board. A piece of your sex partner, the good, bad, and ugly, stays with you, and vice versa, for the rest of your life. You can only imagine what it looks like when you bond with multiple partners. Unhealthy soul ties are often the ramifications of having partners that you create a lifelong bond with through a sexual encounters, but with whom you only have a short-term relationship with. The bond, soul tie, remains long after the relationship is over, leaving both sexual partners longing for wholeness. 3 reasons unhealthy soul ties take place. 1. People are misinformed and therefore convinced that sex is strictly a single-dimensional, physical act with no emotional or spiritual connections. Yet after sex they find themselves mysteriously longing for the person they may not even like. 2. A person, usually the woman, gives him or herself sexually to someone expecting that the intensely intimate act of intercourse would create a bond that would lead to deeper levels of commitment in their relationship. But soon she discovers that her sexual partner was taking advantage of her need for intimacy and used her vulnerability to get laid. Of course, this leads to a person being emotionally and spiritually bonded to somebody that they deeply resent. 3. 2 people commit to marriage and therefore surmise that the covenant vows are only a formality. So they live together and enjoy a sexual relationship outside of a lifelong commitment. But later they decide, for whatever reason, that they don't want to live in a covenant relationship and eventually break up. They usually don't realize how deeply they have wounded each other as their souls are ripped apart, tearing the very fabric of their being in the separation. I understand that there are hundreds of other reasons why unhealthy soul ties take place, but I am simply trying to give you a few examples. 7 signs that you have an unhealthy soul tie. 1. You are in a physically, and are emotionally, and or spiritually abusive relationship, but you feel so attached to them that you refuse to cut off the connection and set boundaries with them. 2. You have left a relationship, maybe long ago, but you think about the other person obsessively, you can't get them out of your mind. 3. Whenever you do anything, make a decision, have a conversation with someone etc., you feel like this person is with you or watching you. 4. When you have sex with someone else, hopefully your husband or wife, you can hardly keep yourself from visualizing the person you have a soul tie with. 5. You take on the negative traits of the person that your soul is tied to and carry their offenses whether or not you actually agree with them. 6. You defend your right to stay in a relationship with the person that your soul is tied to, even though it is negatively affecting or even destroying the important relationships in your life, husband, wife, kids, leaders, etc. 7. You have simultaneous experiences and or moods as the person your soul is tied to. This can even include sickness, accidents, addictions etc. 1 Corinthians 6:15, Do you not know that the one who joins himself to a prostitute is one body with her? For he says, the two shall become one flesh. There is hope. There is help if you find yourself in an unhealthy soul tie. You can never fall so far that you can't be restored. New life is available to you by simply repenting and asking Jesus to forgive you. Forgiveness restores the standard in our lives, and you can live in freedom and hope again. Two humans coming together in a sexual act, unaware that their sexual act may end with gruesome consequences. A sexual soul tie is when two individuals come together and get sexually intimate. After the sexual act, both individuals may leave with heavy spiritual negative burdens, that will in turn end with a negative consequence. In this day and age, most individuals are having premarital sex. People would assume that there is nothing wrong with this, and neither did I once upon a time, because what harm could it possibly bring if I am pleasuring myself, right? Well, you are wrong, sorry. Well, kind of. Just depends on who you have sex with. Why? Because if that individual you are having sex with is carrying heavy negative energy such as cheating in previous relationships, compulsive lying, depression, anxiety etc., a part of all of that will become a part of you after sexual intercourse. Out of curiosity, have you ever been the one to get so attached to an individual, after having sex with them and you guys aren't even together? Ever felt depressed or anxious, after having sex with them? Did life start to go downhill slowly, after having sex with them? Then you have formed a sexual soul tie, as well as a karmic soul tie, and it's totally normal because it is rather unavoidable to associate yourself with someone who does not carry spiritual garbage, especially in this fuckboy generation. I felt like absolute shit after having casual sex. After performing sexual intercourse with these dudes, I began feeling very attached to them. I became mentally, emotionally and spiritually fucked. This became a vicious cycle of feeling like I have no belonging on this planet, so I wanted someone to make me feel special. But they ended up fucking me over. Then eventually forgetting about me. My mind was so fixated on these dudes that I made them control me. See, that's what a soul tie does. You take their negative aspects and it controls you. Don't get me wrong, it controls the men too, it works both ways. However, for the woman it is different. This is because the woman is scientifically proven to be hurt the most after sexual intercourse with the wrong person. According to Dr. Daniel Amen, a psychiatrist, researcher, and author, he explained whenever a person is sexually involved with another person, neurochemical changes occur in both their brains that encourage limbic, emotional bonding. Limbic bonding is the reason casual sex doesn't really work for most people on a whole mind and body level. One reason it is usually the woman who is hurt the most is that the female limbic system is larger than the male's. It can get rather difficult to manifest positive things into your life when your focus is on negativity due to your sexual soul ties. I understand. For me personally, I found it difficult to manifest money and a healthy relationship. It could even eat you up to the point where you get suicidal thoughts. Here's the good part. I managed to cut those sexual soul ties with a spiritual bath soul cleanse. I filled my bathtub with water and added sea salt. You can use any type of natural salt, for example pink Himalayan. I prefer natural salts because it comes directly from the earth and unprocessed. Then, I placed an incense, choose any you like, in the corner of my bathtub with a couple of white candles. Before I entered my bathtub I began chanting something along the lines of cleanse my soul, break soul ties. You can choose whatever works best for you. And I held that intent. I began to imagine darkness, the soul ties, being stripped from my body, and I stayed in the bath for around 2 hours. You can stay in for how long you like, preferably until you feel cleansed. Now, I felt like a virgin when I stepped out that bathtub. I wish I can express and put in drawing how I felt, but I cannot. I felt so different. It was a great feeling. I did not have a strong desire for sex, I felt one with myself and clean. I managed to manifest something really big that I have been trying to manifest for 2 years now. I used a dimensional jumping method. You can YouTube it. Before the cleanse I tried too many methods and they failed. Only this one worked for me after my cleanse. You do not have to do the bath cleanse. You can just say a prayer, chant or ask your spirit guides for help. You can do this as much as you like. Regardless, you're still a beautiful, unique individual and your spirit guides are always there for you and will come to your rescue when you call upon them. Don't make anyone feel like you are less of a human being. We all do dumb shit, just own up to it and focus on positivity. At the end of the day, you're losing time by focusing on negative things because negativity attracts negativity and it is normal to come across a few bad thoughts, but don't make it control you. I understand that it is hard to focus your intent on the positives. You can always start your day with positive affirmations to give you that extra boost of positivity.